We are live.
I'm Maddy.
I'm Ryan. Oh my god, that was really funny because I just like sat there and didn't say anything.
So I dyed my hair red. You didn't even notice. No, you already noticed.
Like you
several
sent me
days
like
ago.
500 pictures. What?
Doesn't it look cool?
It does look great. Why'd you dye your hair red?
Well,
Were you inspired by Ben's family when you saw a bunch of redheads?
that was. I mean, they're all gingers.
Clearly.
Amazing. Although, ironically, Ben dyes his hair blonde, so he does the opposite from what I just did.
That's true.
Honestly, there really isn't a reason. I just think it looks cool.
I think it looks really good. I think it's very suiting for your personality to have red hair.
It is. Also, I don't know, Amy Adams is like my personal hero in life, and she's a natural blonde who dyes her hair red, and it looks amazing on her. So I would like to deceive myself into thinking that
it's because you have the right skin tone for it too.
If you're blonde and you go red, or if you're redheaded,
I was
gonna
say, I'm like, well, since you are super pale.
Yep. So I look exactly like Ariel from The Little Mermaid.
Exactly.
Ooh,
you even have a matching bathing suit.
I do have a matching bathing suit, which people can check out on the internet because Ryan and I went to the beach and took a video of ourselves going to the beach. But I didn't have red hair yet.
Speaking of videos, we did a lot of videos.
We did do a lot of videos. So guess what, internet? You can watch us cosplaying as Jill and Leon in a cosplay video that people already seem to really be enjoying.
It's super great. It involves Leon and Jill hanging out.
Well,
yeah, pretty much.
Truth, really.
Yeah, no, it's more like Leon just questioning Jill about all of her secret crushes so she can ask him about his. That's pretty much the entire thing.
Don't give it away.
I didn't give any of the jokes away. It was It was pretty good. But yeah, Resident Evil. I don't know why I'm not awake yet. Because
it's 9 a.m. and we're never awake at 9 a.m. Never.
That's true.
Okay. So go watch that video, which is, we promise, more organized than this video.
It's on Atomic Blue Productions. We also are making like a buttload of other videos that are going up hopefully soon. So that's cool.
Yeah, I don't know when those are going to happen.
Yeah, we're working on GENO right now, for sure. Like, I know we keep saying this, but it's actually in production now.
Yeah, well, let's say that every week.
I know, that's true.
I don't know that people even believe GENO is real, but hopefully, at least now that they've seen us make a different video that we actually made and completed within like a day, they can see that we are able to complete projects when they're easy. True. But GENO is much more complicated and requires more days to complete than just filming something in a few minutes.
We also, I just want to throw this out here because we've been talking about it, but if any of our listeners have watched the throwback theaters we did, which were of D-Men and D2, which were those X-Men parodies
that we made when we were in high school. Yeah. We made these videos where we rewatched movies that we made in high school.
Yeah, so we basically like did our own Mystery Science Theater on ourselves. So
it's not that funny though, because it's not organized at all because we prepared nothing. So mostly it's us screaming and being like, "This is so
and like us reacting to it." So I guess it's more like a react video.
Yeah,
but anyway,
the
point of that is that we're throwing this out there that we're thinking about looking at a bunch of like doing a throwback on a bunch of old convention videos that we did of the shows that we were in and the accompanying videos we did for them. So if that seems interesting to you to watch us react to us,
I think we've said this before. Batman play. People will watch them. They just don't want to tell us whether or not they're going to watch them ahead of time. That seems to be
putting it out there.
How our listeners operate.
We're just going to segue from that to make it a little announcement about this weekend.
Oh my God. Okay.
So this weekend is Maddie's birthday.
That's not okay. That isn't what you were gonna say, because that wouldn't be a segue at all.
I know. I threw you in a loop. It was great.
It's actually not until Monday. If people want to know exactly when my birthday is, although I don't know why they would want to know that, but that's when it is.
Happy birthday! I got you.
But before that, on Saturday, we're gonna go back to ConnectiCon
for just the Masquerade.
For just the afternoon.
Yeah.
Because we're help him out, and we're gonna judge the masquerade.
So we'll be there, probably in Jill and Leon costumes.
Probably in Jill and Leon costumes. So if you happen to be going to ConnectiCon already, then maybe you'll see us. You can say hi.
ConnectiCon is in Hartford, Connecticut.
It
So
is.
this is the
If you
convention.
weren't already going to it, then I wouldn't expect that you would suddenly buy a ticket just for this, because we're only going to be there for like
and you also
5 hours.
won't see us.
No, you won't.
Because we're rejudging the show.
We're going to be like walking around a little bit before that.
Yeah, that's details that I need to work out with you on what time we actually want to go.
I mean, I don't have anything else happening that day, except that after the masquerade, we're going to drive all the way back to Massachusetts and throw me a birthday party.
Which is funny because our friend Steph was already throwing a party. And then stupidly, Maddy and I both agreed to do another event on that same day without checking the dates first.
Well, I had not written anything down, which is actually really out of character for me, because I know that if I don't write things down, I just won't remember.
It was like a total fluke. I don't even know. But anyway, yeah, so we'll be there and we'll be doing that. And we'll probably walk around and check things out. ConnectiCon
we should do that. Especially if anybody lets us know that they're going to be at ConnectiCon and they want to meet us, then I think it's worth trying to go early to see people. But if nobody is
likely,
that doesn't matter.
I know. Most likely we'll be hanging out at like Starbucks. So
getting some coffee.
I know, right? Well, constantly. But yeah, ConnectiCon was the convention that we both worked for like 8 years. So, you know, I still go back about
most of our terrible videos are going to be from whenever
probably.
we get around
but you know,
showing you guys.
I still go back about. I mean, this is the second year I've gone back since we parted ways. But I still go back and sort of help out a little bit within the department that I used to work in. So I don't know. I recommend going. It's a multi-genre convention. If you like conventions, they're fun. It's a lot of cosplay.
And I think it's also like a really great con to go to if you're younger than we are. Like if you're sort of in the 18 to 21 age range, there's a lot of people there that are that same age. So
yeah, I was actually okay. So before we get into all of our news and stuff, I was thinking about the ConnectiCon and cons in general, like 10 years ago for me, right? And like, I was thinking about how it was like such a different time then. Like, I know obviously in your early 20s, you're kind of crazy and you like attention, right? So like, of course, putting on cosplay, we were like, take pictures of us.
Surprised that cons became incredibly popular because nerds were like, oh my God, I could finally get validated for liking anime.
I know. I mean, so there was that, but I was also thinking about like how often like I would make out with like dudes
or girls dressed as dudes, which you're willing to compromise for.
Right, but like there was like lots of making out happens. Like it wasn't even necessarily for photo shoots, and I kept thinking about that and like how I remember thinking that
hooking up.
Right, but I remember that being like one of the first safe spaces when I was like 21, 22. So like literally 10 years ago to like sort of like experiment with a dude, if that makes any sense.
No, yeah. And it's also like one of the safe spaces to experiment with gender and like dressing.
Yeah. Like I remember all that and how like, you know, you could kiss a dude in public and it wouldn't be a problem. Not that it was 10 years ago, but nobody really talked about it 10 years ago. Whereas like it's pretty open now.
And they kind of do now, but a lot of times it's like, oh, cons could stand to be a lot better on this score because a lot of times convention staff don't realize that there's like a massive queer community among cosplayers.
I know.
And con staff are like, I don't know, these weirdos and like are not kind of closed-minded about it sometimes. But I mean, it depends on the con. I don't know. Obviously, when we were at ConnectiCon, we tried to fix that, but it's I don't know.
I mean, I don't think there's any convention that doesn't suffer from that. It's like it's a tough thing to deal with. But I just kept thinking about that for some reason the other day, and I was like, it's so weird how different that was even 10 years ago. And like,
well, I think it was really exciting 10 years ago, and like now, this sounds silly, but I do think now we kind of take cons for granted in a way. Like we take it for granted that it's kind of normal to go to a cosplay at a con.
Yeah.
But 10 years ago, it was still actually really strange to do that. And like 15 years ago, it was mega weird to be doing that. And like you and I were throwing our own X-Men parties.
We were already doing that.
Cosplaying before we knew what the word cosplay meant. we were just making X-Men costumes and
it all
wearing them
stemmed out
and
from the
throwing
idea
a
that
party
I know
that we were like, we're Jean Grey and Professor X. And
well, we
blah, blah,
literally
blah.
like loved Halloween and making
We
costumes for
loved
Halloween. So
Halloween.
that's
we
where
would
that
like amp up
started.
for Halloween every single year so that we could dress up. And so like as soon as we discovered that cons existed, I mean, my mind was blown by it the first time I went to a con. I was
remember
just completely blown away by it.
So there was this girl, I think her name was Mars Girl, and I think she works for Nostalgia Critic now, but like, you know, back like 10 years ago, I remember she would just go to cons and film cons and like make con videos before anyone else did that.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Right. And so she was like one of the first people. And I remember watching those videos because there was no way to access those.
That world.
I think you had to download them because YouTube didn't exist.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So streaming.
Remember downloading videos?
I know, right? So like I remember that, and
you
I
would
remember
never know what the video was going to be, or if it was going to be a virus that would destroy your computer.
No, I never really worried about that. But
we should have worried about that a little more than we did.
It seemed to work out. So, you know, I remember looking at those videos and being like, "Oh, that looks like so much fun." And I mean,
you were right.
It was. You know, our friend Elena sort of compares conventions to music festivals because it's sort of like the same. It's not necessarily the same crowd, but it's like a lot of the same thing where it's like people are dressed up in crazy costumes and dancing around for 3 days. So
yeah, and like I think that now that we're older and we have friends still that we're really close to, it's not that cons aren't important anymore, but they're definitely like an important part of my life and my past and everything. But it's not something that I cling to as much as I did when I was like in the 18 to 21 age range.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it also.
At that time, I was like, oh my God, this is the thing that I need so badly. Like I need to go to this place and feel like there's other people like me and feel like it's okay to be who I am. And that's really, really important at that age. So if you are someone who's in that stage or you know someone who is, then
yeah, totally.
You should definitely check out ConnectiCon or I mean,
any con.
I actually think ConnectiCon is a pretty great con to go to if you're that age.
Like, I do too. I think I mean
like it better than
I agree with everything you're saying. And it's
more of a cosplay con than PAX. So
right. And even though things have like changed over the years, like, you know, in terms of conventions, I mean, they still sort of serve the same purpose where it's sort of like a safe space to go and go be nerds. So
go hook up with some people of your same gender or opposite gender.
Please be careful about that if you're listening to this. And like, don't take that advice. Hello.
Just kissing.
Yeah. So anyway,
I mean, that's what we did. And your role models, Maddy and Ryan, made out with strangers as kids
on stage with people they didn't even fucking know.
Honestly, that did happen. And we'll show you the videos later. Anyway, before we transition to our workout tips, I'm just going to say that my band is playing a concert tonight in Boston at the Middle East upstairs. So if you're in Boston and you somehow missed that, come see my band play at 10 p.m. tonight.
That's true. Maddy has posted it like 700 times this week.
I know, but not everybody. Sorry, Ryan.
No, I put the note on there for you to talk about it.
Okay. Well, yeah. Thanks for the reminder. So I'm going to try to take a video of the show too. So.
I think it's important that you do that because the album's coming out.
People can watch it. Yeah. So I'll try to take a video of the show and it will probably take me several days to edit it because I'm also going to go in the studio for like the next several days.
Or more likely what's going to happen with you is that you'll like put it on the computer and it'll just sit there for like 8 years. And then I'll be like, hey.
Okay, that isn't going to happen.
Can you send me that video that you were supposed to send me 8 years ago?
That's not going to happen this time. Although I did. The only reason why you're saying that is because this week we were like, let's dig up some old convention videos.
And immediately found a bunch that I didn't even know we had.
And I found some. But you know what was sad about that was that I actually didn't find the ones that I was hoping I still had. I found some that I didn't know I had, which was funny and cool. But there's a lot of videos that we don't have anymore that have been lost to the ravages of various hard drive failures.
That may not be true. I think I might have a bunch of stuff on an external hard drive, but I have to like go through that shit. I also have 2 laptops that are dead, right?
But you might be able to get the files off of them.
Well, Ben bought this like hard drive thing where you take the hard drive out and you put it into this thing so you can transfer everything.
Yeah. No,
So I
that's a
should
good
really
idea.
like see what's on some of these old laptops and see if there's anything in there that like is missing from our archives.
I really hope you have more stuff because I was sad when I was looking through my own external hard drive and being like, really, I didn't save any of this. I had random things that we
Well,
can definitely
same
check
here.
out.
Okay, so when I was looking through stuff, I found a video of me like totally drunk out of my mind on like some New Year's Eve, like years ago, and I'm just like trying to crawl under a table for 2 minutes. I was like knocking shit off the table and
How
shit's going
old were
everywhere.
you in this video?
I don't know.
Ryan?
Knowing me, it was probably like
Probably
last
not
year.
21. Oh, I was gonna go the other way with it and be like, were you like 19? Like perhaps.
No, because fun fact, I didn't drink until after I was 21. My first drink I had was like when I was almost 22.
That's a better way to go about it. I did not live my life that way. And
Yeah, I
it's not a
still
good way
don't
to
really.
be. Well, I don't drink now, as I've said on this show 1,000 freaking times. Let's not do that again.
No, we don't need to get into that. Do you want to talk about workout tips because we're not going anywhere right now. We're losing viewers. They're like, this is like the worst show we've ever watched.
Well, whatever. Okay, so I can't remember if I talked about this 2 weeks ago, but I don't know that I did.
We talked about rollerblading.
I did talk about rollerblading. There's a track near my house, like a running track. And
those things exist.
Yeah, so it's sort of within walking distance of me. It's like a 15 or 20-minute walk, depending on how speedy I am. And I love it. Like, it's been a really long time since I went to a track and ran around a track. And the other day, like 2 weeks ago, because we haven't done this show in a while, I was like, is there a park in walking distance of my house so that I don't have to drive to a park and then exercise at the park? Because I don't mind doing that, but if I can walk somewhere, I will, just because I like walking.
Right.
So I literally just walked out of my house and was like, all right, Google Maps says there's a field sort of near me, so I'm just going to walk towards it and see what's over there, which was really fun as a classic Ryan Pagella move to be looking at Google Maps and being like, well, there's a green space there. And I literally didn't know what would be there when I got there. And then when I got there, I was like, oh, there's an athletic field here. I've driven by here before. I never thought about the fact that I've driven by here and that I could walk here.
Did you hack any portals while you were there?
No, I didn't. I didn't hack any portals. I didn't hack any Pokemons. Pokemon Go isn't out yet, but maybe when it is out, I'll give it a try. And
Pokemon Go is supposed to come out today, but it's not actually on any app store yet.
BS, if you ask me. Anyway,
Yeah.
So maybe we'll both play it and see if it helps us get out of the house more. Not that we already aren't still doing that. So that was really neat. And to find that running track and be like, wow, this is actually walking distance. Because you know how when you're driving around, you don't think to yourself, this is walking distance. I could physically go here. You don't actually know that until you just walk around and explore your neighborhood. So I did that over the weekend. I ran around the track. I did interval training, which I've talked about on the show before. But basically, I run around half the track because I can't do the full track because I'm not in good enough shape yet. As fast as I can, I run around half the track, and then I walk like all the way around the track relatively quickly, like power walk, and your heart rate goes back down, and then you sprint as fast as you can halfway around the track or whatever it may be. That's just how I'm doing it, but you can do whatever length you want.
And also, I guess something you should talk about is running with the track is better than running on gravel.
Yeah, that's exactly why I was giving this workout tip. So I like walking and running a lot, and I have pretty expensive sneakers because I think it's important to have good sneakers because otherwise you can get shin splints, which I'll talk about in a second.
I've gotten those before.
It's terrible. So the ways to prevent that, and also ways to prevent knee damage, which my mother has gotten from running like 5Ks and stuff on concrete, is because your body is not really meant to run on concrete. Like, concrete is not a natural thing for you to be walking and running on, even with really good sneakers. It's too hard, and your legs and knees will react to it by, like, the reverberations of running on concrete will affect your knees and shins and hurt you if you do it too much. So usually running tracks, or at least the one near my house, and every run that I've ever run on, is made out of this slightly padded foam that just is more comfortable to run on. And So that's why it's worth it for me to walk to this track specifically and run around the track as opposed to just running around my neighborhood, which I love doing that. And I've talked on the show before about how I've like gone down to the Charles River and I've run along the river like on the sand. I've done that before. Obviously,
running on sand is rough. I mean, it's not bad,
if
but
it's
I mean,
wet sand, like in my case, it was like the sort of weird mud sand that's kind of by the river. So it's not sand on the beach. If you're running on the beach, you want to run on the wet sand, not the dry sand. Do you know what I mean? And running on wet sand is actually fine for you to do. It's a good.
I was thinking about just how it's much tougher when you're running on dry sand. It doesn't feel bad, but it's like you go very slow. So
yeah. It's not. It's too difficult. I'm not recommending that. But I will say if there's a place to run near you, then it's worth going there. And you are giving up the possibility of running around your neighborhood, which might be fun. But you're at least saving your knees and legs. And so Shin Splints. If you've ever done a lot of walking or running, and you're not a regular exerciser, and you're not,
and also if you're not wearing like the proper shoes.
Yep. You can, even if you are wearing the proper shoes, possibly, if you're walking on concrete a lot, you might feel this really weird, painful burning sensation behind your shin bone, sort of like behind it, like that muscle that attaches to that bone. And you might be like, what the heck is wrong with my legs? Because that was something that happened to me when I was in college or like early high school when I was first starting to walk around.
You can also feel like in your shin too. Like it's not just like behind your shin. Like it's like that whole area.
It's that muscle. It kind of depends on which part of the muscle hurts. But for me, it's usually behind my shin. That's usually where the
for me, that's where it started. But then it like kind of like went all the way around and like.
Yeah. So if you ever see runners with those huge packs of ice around their shins, usually they're like training for a marathon or something, and they basically can't avoid shin splints because they're doing so much exercising on various terrain, and especially concrete, because that's what they're going to be running the marathon on, unfortunately. They just pack ice around their muscles so that they can make the swelling go down. But you shouldn't have to do that, because I think running marathons is unnatural and terrifying. And like,
I think I would do maybe one marathon, but I'm more interested in doing stuff like Tough Mudder.
Tough Mudder seems really fun.
And like, you know, all those like sort of like, it's not just a running type of deal.
Courses and stuff where you're running
zombie runs, that kind of stuff.
I'm more into, because I have so many knee problems, like, and shin splints and stuff. I'm just like, I don't want to do this to my legs. I wouldn't want to.
I've only gotten shin splints once. And fun story behind that.
Many times.
Oh my God. I had to ice it down, and we didn't have any ice here. So Ben, what we did have it was like post Ben working at this summer camp that he was doing. And so they had given him like a bunch of like pre-made frozen drinks that were like in plastic packages that you just put in the freezer. So like we were putting those on my leg. And then when they had warmed up, because they had been on my leg for too long, I would drink it, and then I would drink the drink and then put the other ice back on.
That's disgusting.
It's not gross.
But hilarious. Was it like margarita mix or something?
I mean, they were pre-made drinks. They were just already like in the ice bags, and then you take it out and you pour it out into a thing.
Yeah, but was it for alcohol, or was it just like
it was already like the alcohol was already in there.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a fun way to medicate. So you could do that, or you can like put some frozen peas on there or whatever.
I like how you're like, what?
I'm not surprised. As soon as you told me frozen pre-made drinks, I was like, so this is an alcohol story.
It is an alcohol story, but it was I've never done it since that one time, but like it was just
so I've gotten shin splints many times, and I don't actually usually bother with ice. I just so actually, like, I don't know if I can demonstrate this on camera, but there's different stretches you can do that like shin splint stretch.
You're not going to be able to demonstrate it on camera, because I know what you're talking about, because it requires you putting your leg and your arms out, and it's going to be like, and like trying to touch your toes and stuff. So
so look that up. That'll help. But mostly my advice is to get really good shoes.
Pretty much.
They cost like $100, $150, which at least for me seems like a lot of money to spend on a pair of sneakers. It's worth it. They're gonna really help your running and make you feel more comfortable when you're out there.
I don't know if I talked about this on the show. And you can tell me if I did, but have I actually talked about trail running, or have I just mentioned it in passing?
You've talked about it a little bit. You've talked about like running over rocks and leaping around.
I mean, maybe I did, but for the sake of staying on the same sort of like
Vibe.
subjects, I'll talk a little about trail running because it's what I do the most. And it's much better for your feet because you're not running on gravel. And most of the time, since you're running on trails that are in the woods, you're running on dirt. And also, for me, the reason why I started doing it was because, I mean, sure, I wanted to leap off shit, and you can't really get that when you're running on cement. But
or on a trail or a track like I'm doing, there's no leaping around.
Right, but initially, the reason why I started doing it is because I didn't want to join a gym years ago because I didn't want people watching me work out, which is a common fear that a lot of people have.
Mm-hmm. It's an understandable fear. It's not a fear that I happen to have, but
no, I'm over that now. It's been years.
But I'm sure many of our listeners and viewers can relate to that.
Right. And so also, so you're going somewhere that's probably a little bit more private than that. And you get a lot more out of it too, because as it turns out, trail running already provides for you a lot of the things that you can change automatically on a treadmill. So, I mean, you're going to be going uphill, downhill, you're going to be going on uneven ground and whatever. But I mean, I really love doing it because it is really sort of challenging. And whenever, for me, that's been doing it for so long, I keep on looking for new places to go and sort of harder terrain to do. So there's lots of rock climbing. There's lots of leaping over stuff. Sometimes I decide to go by ways of water, which means I have to sort of find a way across a river, So it's sort of forces you to challenge yourself. And it's if you like to hike already, then it's really good for you. And it really sort of ups your cardio really quickly also. I don't know. It's nice. It's peaceful. I don't know what else to say about that.
You can only do if you live in places where you and I do at this point. There's parks near my house.
If you don't though, because I know down in Florida where my friend recently moved, she goes trail running, but there aren't woods there, but there are paved, not paved places, but dirt paths and stuff that are near beaches and other types of places that are really cool to go to. So I mean, run anywhere that you want. You don't need to do it in a city. You don't need to do it on a pavement.
Even if you do live in the city, when I still lived in Boston, I would go to Revere Beach by myself sometimes, and there's little pathways.
It's stuff like that. So
there's places that you can go, and obviously there's places along the Charles River. I live in the suburbs now, but the Charles goes all around the Boston area, so there's always little paths near there. So even if you live in a city, there's probably somewhere that you can go that's still a cool photo opportunity, nice natural looking place where you can feel like you really left the house and you really did something and you're an explorer, because that stuff definitely helps motivate me to go outside. And
when I go and do those things, I sort of wonder if I can channel my inner Lara Croft and just become her.
And then it turns out you can.
And then it's really weird because then I find tubes and relics and stuff, and I'm dodging daggers that are flying out of the walls.
And you have to fight a skeleton.
And my dog's what's going on? And
your dog's let me help you fight this bear.
Okay,
it's pretty good.
Speaking of my dog, she was in the Leon and Jill thing, which everybody keeps. Okay, first of all, I've seen people being what's the dog's role? And then we'll link to Resident Evil 4 with
oh my god,
it's so obscure, but then wow, I
recognize the dog because I talk about that dog constantly on my Twitter already.
I know, but okay, so you posted a GIF file of you from the video of you looking at Lyra, and then she's ha ha ha, and you look back and she's
it's a really cute game.
It makes me laugh so hard. And then I looked at it, I was 44 people like this thing.
I know, that surprised me, but I think
and I'm why is my dog more famous than I am?
I've shared the "Hey, it's that dog" video from Resident Evil 4 600 times in my life because I just think it's really funny. I think it's funny anytime a character talks to no one and reminds the audience of something that's happened earlier in the game, and that's something that happens in Resident Evil 4 with that dog. And also, your dog looks exactly like that dog.
She does.
They're both white shepherds.
Yep, because she's got that direwolf look about her.
Yep.
Also, speaking of Resident Evil, we'll go right into some pop culture-y stuff.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I was pretty disappointed that this turned out not to be real.
Okay, so I'm going to first preface that last week we didn't do the show because my boyfriend's mom passed away. So I was already in a really weird place like all last week mentally. And like as soon as that happened, this weird thing came out where somebody claimed that they had played the Resident Evil 7 demo, right?
Which we talked about 2 weeks ago in
Yeah.
a lot of detail.
And they found a QR code supposedly that they scanned.
All
and like
lies.
it took them to this website for a place called Assaypro. Is
Yeah.
that how it's pronounced? I don't actually know.
I don't know either. I thought it was Assaypro because I'm assuming they don't want to emphasize the ass in their name.
I just assumed it was ass.
Assaypro.
Ass is pro.
So I mean, this place has a logo that looks kind of like the Umbrella Corporation logo from Resident Evil, and they also sell medical supplies. I mean, it's a very like suspicious looking website if you're already in the Resident Evil science fiction mental mode.
Right.
But so, apparently it's just a real website.
But so it was crazy though, because when the information first came out, I sent it to Maddy and she's like, oh, this is an ARG site. And I was
it's
like,
an ARG. I thought that like Capcom probably like made a fake website. And
and I was like, cool. I don't know about that. This seems really complicated.
I didn't look at it in my defense, I didn't look at it super closely because I was at work.
No, but see, like I was also at work and I wasn't even looking at that closely, but there were like lots of comments of people being like, haha, T-virus, and they weren't deleting the comments. So we're like, well, maybe it is a joke. But then I was like, no, I think like, because then if you did some more extensive reading, they had reviews with other like health websites, and I was like, I think they may actually be real, but it was really hard to tell because
part of it that convinced me was like after work when I was like, let me really look at this. The website just had way too much information on it. Like
it did.
Buying information for its employees and like lots of different phone numbers and stuff that actually worked. So I was like, oh, this website it has to be real because they wouldn't bother to put up real identifying information.
Yeah,
of, like,
exactly.
people.
And so
that's
but
too
for
much
a while
for
there, like we weren't sure, and it was like I was already like in this place where I felt
you
like
were like nothing is real, and you were like,
and this weird Assaypro thing came out, and I was like, dude, like, what is this real or not? I'm like, what is happening? And like, I'm like,
you were
maybe
like legitimately getting kind of upset, and I was like, Ryan, don't worry, this is just a game.
Well, you know, like, I thought I mean, it did make me think that it'd be interesting that they would do an ARG site.
I would love to see
for something that's a virtual reality game that's already has people talking, and like, I think that would be really interesting if they could fuse virtual reality with reality to sort of like fuck with players. But that's not what's happening. It turned out to be like a real place.
I know. It was a real place.
So it's real life Umbrella, essentially.
And I think like the way that people found it, I didn't even tell you this, but I found this really old Reddit post.
Yeah, I saw that. I already know what you're talking about.
Years ago, where somebody took a picture of the corporation headquarters for Assaypro when it first opened. Like it's a real place, and somebody took a picture of it and posted it on Reddit and was like, "Isn't this funny? This place looks a lot like Umbrella." Like haha, and a lot of people commented on it at the time years ago. So I think somebody else probably saw that old post, remembered it, and was like, at some point when the next Resident Evil game comes out, I'm gonna pretend that this company is part of an ARG, and I'm gonna like lie to people.
I mean, it's what people do on the internet.
I know, right? And like it definitely got a lot of responses and posts, and like people getting excited that it would turn out to be real, and a whole lot of people called this company and were like, hey, are you guys Capcom? And they were extremely good sports about it.
I mean, that's true.
Really, really nice about it. They contacted the Mary Sue because we wrote an article about it because my coworker got like way into the conspiracy too, and she wrote about it, and like they contacted us and they sent us like a really kind email being like, yeah, we're just a company, but
we're not making zombie viruses here. But even at the time, you were like,
I actually thought that was really cool of them that they were like, they like sent us an email with like jokes in it about zombies, and they were like, hey, so sorry to disappoint you, but like
we're not raising the dead here
for a video game. And they weren't dicks about it, which was really cool. So props to Assaypro.
I know, right? Seriously.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 7 or Resident Evil still staying relevant after all these years.
Yeah, like I'm pretty excited about the game.
Okay, so then there's this other thing that came out directly after this where they were like, they made some sort of weird announcement saying that the reason why the dummy finger doesn't have a purpose yet is because they have to release a second part to the demo.
But they didn't explicitly say that. They sent like a cryptic message that was like, more is coming or something like that.
But like,
and everyone was like, are you shitting me, Capcom?
Yeah, like, and well, first of all, who releases demos in multiple parts? And secondly, like, I mean, technically, it's not a demo when you think about it. It's actually a prequel to the actual game, like a free prequel. So
Which
they're
is a lot of
releasing
work
this
for them.
free prequel and pieces that, like, I guess are gonna update. I don't even know what to expect. So
I don't either. I don't either. I was really annoyed when I heard about this, but now I'm kind of back to being excited because I'm like, maybe if the next demo comes out, you and me and Steph can get together again.
I know, right? We'll like play that one too.
Because it was so fun the first time.
It really was. And you know me, I love Resident Evil. I'll take it in any form, whether it's the games, the movies, the books.
No, I know. But also this time it was legitimately pretty cool. Like I actually really enjoyed playing it with you guys and trying to find all the secrets together, and it was really, really fun. So maybe we should stream it this time. I don't know. We can talk about it.
I mean, that is something we can do with the PS4. We just decided not to do that.
Well, because we were having a good time hanging out.
It was also like midnight, and like I don't think we even have a webcam for the PS4, which I think is part of the whole streaming thing.
Yeah,
so.
But we could figure something out if we want to. We have some time because Capcom has not put the game out, so we can figure it out. Anyway.
Also, speaking of massive game franchises, is that somebody released this like weird CG Majora's Mask trailer?
Yeah, and this is a fan-made film that's being made by like Ember Studios or an animation company that's putting together.
Which
like,
looks
Majora's
awesome,
Mask.
and I do love Majora's Mask. It's one of my favorite Zelda games.
I was watching this trailer and I was like, this just looks like it's made by an official studio, like for the game. Like it doesn't even look like a fan-made thing.
Did you ever see that like Zelda prototype for a movie that was created by that like
live action one?
No, it was a CG movie that was made by the same people that made a couple of their actual movies, and I can't remember what they were at the top of my head. I'll send it to you later, but it's like it's super cartoony, but like it would have been awesome if they had picked it up, and I guess they pitched it. I think the point I'm trying to make here is that like animation studios and animators can like make things a lot easier now than they could have like 10 years ago.
That's true.
Same with people making YouTube web series. Like, I mean, like the reason why there's so many like, but the reason there's so many like web shows and like fan films and fan series coming out is because people have access to the technology to do it now. You know what I mean? Like, and most of the time, some of that stuff is better than the actual material that comes out. So
in this case, I actually wondered whether maybe they were going to pitch the series to Nintendo because it looked so good that I was like, this is...
Well, I know Nintendo is looking into maybe doing like a TV show. So like maybe I don't know.
I mean, I liked that really stupid Zelda cartoon that they did years ago.
Oh my God. I really hope that like Nintendo goes back to doing some marketing. But the reason they did that back then is because they were trying to get people to just buy video games, period.
I mean, they still are. That is still their business.
Yeah, but I mean, like in the late 80s, early 90s, people were like not sure if they wanted home consoles yet. Like that was still a new idea. I mean, that's why Rob the Robot even exists, is because they like America wouldn't even buy Nintendo and like until they had like a robot toy that went along with it. So
that makes perfect sense to me. I don't know why that's supposed to be weird. I need a robot toy to go with it.
Okay, well, you love Rob the Robot, so
Rob the Robot's great. I legit play as Rob in Smash. Anyway, let's keep going. Let's keep going. So Wreck-It Ralph 2 is coming out. I'm excited about that. I thought the first one was really cute.
I haven't seen the first one since I saw it in theaters, but I really loved it. So
yeah, we saw it together with a bunch of our friends.
We did. It was for my birthday, I think. We had a party called Wreck-It Ryan.
That's funny. I forgot about that.
And I had like the pixelated version of my face. It was a thing we did. But
we have a lot of theme parties.
We really did. But this one we didn't dress up for, so there's that.
No, we didn't. But I think it was because we were in the middle of doing a bunch of ConnectiCon stuff. So this was like a de-stress party where we didn't dress up.
Yeah.
But I cosplayed as the character from Wreck-It Ralph later.
Sergeant Calhoun.
Sergeant Calhoun.
Because we did a Wreck-It Ralph themed game show of, oh my God, this is like a mashup that people are gonna be like, what the fuck? But it was for a convention, ConnectiCon specifically, in which we did a Wreck-It Ralph a Wreck-It Ralph themed what's the name of that game
show. I don't think it was Let's
Oh
Make a
my
Deal.
God.
It was a different
Figure It
game
Out.
show. Figure It Out.
The Nickelodeon kids game show, Figure It Out. I mean, how much more obscure could we have made this?
People went to it and they seemed to like it. But we had a bunch of Wreck-It Ralph characters, and I hosted it, and I asked
Sergeant Calhoun, and she didn't actually slime anyone, but she did blow bubbles in people's faces and also honked air horns.
I did. So instead of sliming people, I had like a really loud kazoo, and I don't know. I did other obnoxious stuff.
Yeah, I was Fix It Felix, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you
I had to think about that. I couldn't even remember.
Yeah, and
was a crazy
couple other people we know were other Wreck-It Ralph characters.
Was that the year that I was like before the convention even started? It was like my first year that I was the vice president, I think, and I also was like massively sick.
It's entirely possible that
I think I was super feverish.
Do the show anyway,
and then you got sick. Okay, anyway, so the point is that like I don't really have good memory because I was like probably shouldn't have been running around running a massive event, but whatever.
I could be misremembering, but I don't think I got sick that year. I think I did pretty well that year.
I think you did after, but that's
nobody
cares.
I mostly remember the Sergeant Calhoun cosplay that I made was pretty good. I've reposted that photo some.
Yeah, she made like actual armor, which is really badass.
It was hard. Anyway.
Yeah, so we did. There was that. There's a Tetris movie coming out, which sounds stupid to me, and I think it's even stupider that they're like, it might be a trilogy. I'm like, it's about fucking blocks falling down.
I'm upset by this. I'm like, Ryan, it's not going to be a trilogy if it's not good. Like, don't worry.
I mean, I don't even know what to say about that.
We want money. All right, so let's all go see the Tetris movie because it's definitely going to be great.
And then Neill died.
Yeah, that's sad.
Which is sad.
She played Lois Lane in Adventures of Superman, and she had some cameos in a bunch of other Superman.
Yeah, I was actually looking it up afterwards because I knew she was in the movie, but that I didn't realize that she was in like 500 other Superman things. So she really was attached to like the name. So
yeah,
I mean, she seemed very cool. I was actually reading this whole thing with Gail Simone, where she said that Gail had been writing. Or she was at some convention and she met Neill, and she didn't even know it was her, but Neill came up to her and was like, I'm really glad that there's a girl writing Superman now. Thank you. And then she left.
That's great.
So there was something definitely super feminist about her, which is actually kind of awesome. So
Lois Lane is a really cool character. And
yeah, she is.
I mean, as far as fictional female journalists go, there's Lois Lane.
I always compare Maddy to Lois Lane constantly. For whatever reason, or April O'Neil. Those are like my two go-tos.
Yeah, but I mean, I do like that trope of like the female journalist who is figuring out the identity of whoever the heroes of the show are, and she's like smart enough to do that, but the hero has to kind of keep being like.
Well, Lois Lane specifically was somebody who would like actively put herself in danger, but also could defend herself most of the time. Yeah. Like she would run right in, like
April O'Neil.
Right, but like Lois Lane was always somebody who could like run in and like kind of take care of herself, depending on who was writing it, and. She's very sassy and she's not afraid of villains. So like she'd run up to a supervillain with like a microphone. She's like, "Excuse me, I have some questions for you." And the supervillain's like, "I'm trying to destroy the world here," like Lex Luthor or something. And she's like, "Okay, but first I have a Q&A for you."
She was pretty great. And like I mean, I think we're about to do a throwback. And it doesn't have to be to this necessarily, but like I was watching some old Justice League Unlimited cartoons recently, and Lois Lane is really great on that show. And I had forgotten that she was even there because I've like completely forgotten.
Well, everything. She was, I mean, on the Superman animated series. I mean,
but I forgot that she was like even in JLU at all. So there's
so let's I guess I'm going to start by saying that this whole throwback could be about all those animated connected universes, because it was like Justice League Unlimited, Superman, Batman. They're just regular Justice League.
Yeah, and then like later on, Teen Titans is kind of similar.
I don't know if that was connected as much as Young Justice and what is it called? There was another one. I'm blanking on it right now. It's the one where everyone's in the future, and it's like the same team of people that made all the Justice League and this stuff with Bruce Timm and Paul Dini. But God, why am I blanking on it? The one with Brainiac as a main character.
I don't think I watched whatever.
Superboy.
Oh, I don't know.
I feel really bad for not remembering it. Ben loves it. I was watching it with him recently. It's a very dark show. But anyway, so like there was a whole series of them, and you're right that Lois Lane was in Justice League Unlimited, but she also was in the Superman animated series, and all those shows were like really dark and like adult heavy material.
Yeah, like Kara was telling me that apparently they aired at like 10 p.m.
They did. It was like 9:30, 10 p.m., especially when Justice League Unlimited came out.
Yeah.
When
that was weird to me because we were watching it and I was like, oh, this is like a great kids show. Like,
no, it's
nothing ever
not.
gets
Okay,
too
it's
scary.
like,
but it's also, I mean, it's not really a show for adults either. It's sort of for like 13-year-olds. Like it's in that
yeah,
place where nobody ever gets that hurt, and when there's a big misunderstanding where people might die, nothing that bad happens. Like maybe a character will die, but like it's not, do you know what I mean? Like it's in that in between place where bad things are happening, so it's not really for kids, but not that bad things
because there's like, you don't see active death on screen.
Yeah, there's rules about blood and
there
stuff.
was stuff like that. I remember when I was showing Ben Justice League Unlimited because he watched the original Justice League, and then I was like, no, we really need to watch Unlimited because he did. First of all, he didn't understand like when I first started dating him like 7 years ago why I loved Black Canary, and I was like, Black Canary is a great character when she's written correctly.
Yeah, and those shows are great.
And in Justice League Unlimited, she was really amazing in it. And so Ben was watching her like intro episode, and he was like, okay, I get why you love her now. Because she's like somebody that is a metahuman who like can scream and like do her whole banshee thing, but like she doesn't do that unless she needs to. Like it's secondary to how badass she actually is. And the show really emphasized on that.
Superpowers if she can, which is cool, and focuses a lot on defending herself without using that.
Yeah. And I mean, and so a lot of the female heroes on this show were written to be that way. They were all like really badass. It's just as badass as the guys, which is probably like why we loved Justice League Unlimited and Batman and Superman. Because even in shows like Batman, where it was primarily about Batman, we also had like Batgirl running around being just as awesome. So
yeah, and I mean those shows invented Harley Quinn, and she's
that is true.
One of the most popular characters ever.
Even though she's nothing like her original incarnation anymore, but whatever.
She's still pretty good on the original show. So,
that's true.
It's worth going back.
Yeah, actually, that was another thing is that it was very dark because they introduced a lot of like in the Batman series, like the whole concept that they were showing like children like what an abusive relationship looks like.
Yeah, although I don't think I understood a lot of that stuff at the time.
No, but if you watch it now, it's really like fucked up.
I know. And I think actually they did sort of a classic kids show thing where if you watch it as an adult, you kind of understand more what's going on with all of the larger plot lines. But if you're a kid watching it, you're just like, oh, there's some cool fight scenes and Lex Luthor's gonna set up a bomb, or is it a bomb? And like, you just,
oh my god,
you don't think about the implications of what's happening.
Right, exactly.
But watching it now, I was kind of like, oh, this is like making interesting commentary about what kind of a leader Lex Luthor would be if he was really running for president, and what kind of decisions he'd make, and why the Justice League wouldn't necessarily approve of them. And
dude, in Justice League Unlimited, they do that whole thing where I don't remember who hacks the Justice League Tower, but like the Justice League Tower is attacked and like all the superheroes aren't able to get to Earth, and like the cannon of the Justice League Tower in space shoots down at Earth and like blows up a city. And then everyone's like, and nobody even like the people are like on Earth are like, the fucking Justice League had a cannon up there, like what the fuck? And then so suddenly became this whole thing that was almost sort of like Watchmen, where it's like, okay, are these superheroes like actually good for us or not? And it took a really dark turn after that. I remember watching that and I was like, this is fucked up. And then Ben finally saw it and he was like, this is really fucked up.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff like that. And I mean, the ones that I was watching were the Lex Luthor running for president ones where like he's creating that city. And
yeah, and the Question like sees like some alternate reality footage of Superman killing Lex Luthor.
Yeah, and like Superman messes up a lot on that show.
Yeah,
like he's kind of a jerk on it, and it reminded me a little bit of Man of Steel and like how everybody was like, Superman's not supposed to be a jerk, and I'm like, it's funny because this version of him is kind of like that version. I wonder if Zack Snyder just watched JLU and was like, I know everything about Superman. Because that would explain a lot. Because everybody's always like, what version?
If it's anything like the X-Men movies where they're like, well, we went back and watched the 90s X-Men series. And
that's
I'm like,
kind of where I'm going with this, is that maybe maybe filmmakers today are just watching these cartoons
because
and
it's just
being like,
easier than like looking at the source material. They're like, this only invests like a couple hours of our time. Now we understand everything.
I mean,
Although
in
I
their
guess
defense, it's a pretty good
I was
portrayal of
gonna
these
say like
characters.
Justice League Unlimited is a good way to go.
But it's
There's also
not.
some other dark things too that wasn't just on Justice League. Like my favorite episode of the Batman animated series is the one where it opens with Batgirl falling off a roof and landing on Commissioner Gordon's car and dying, like literally on screen death. And
Whoa.
like, I know, no, it's good. And Commissioner Gordon loses his shit and he's like, I'm going to kill Batman and his family. And so he like comes after Batman and Robin and apprehends him and then like kills Batman. And then Batgirl wakes up in a hospital room and she had been hit by fear gas apparently at the beginning of the episode and like had dreamt this entire thing where if she died and her father found out, he would kill all of her friends.
Yeah. It's kind of concerning if your dad is that much of a worry for you that you're like, oh no, what if my dad finds out that I was Batgirl? He might kill everyone.
Thankfully, at the end, she's like, I have something to tell you. And Commissioner Gordon's like, I already know about you and everyone.
And she's like, oh, okay. Can you not kill everyone if I die, Dad?
Yeah, pretty much. It was like, but I mean, like, those were like the tone of like a lot of those episodes. And even in Justice League Unlimited, where they just dealt with like a lot of adult content that they sort of dumbed down in a way that like teenagers could understand. So anyway, that's my story.
A lot of those are still on Netflix, but not all of them. But like a lot of the shows are on Netflix. So if you've never seen them before, they're pretty cool.
They are very good.
Check them out. Anyway, we should do reader mail.
Yeah, we only have one today. It's from Taylor. He says, hi, Maddy and Ryan. First of all, I'm sorry about the dummy finger. Oh my God. I know you'll probably talk about this before you get to my email. This is like avid listener right here. He knows exactly what we're going to do. My boyfriend and I are prepping for a local musical, so I've got the fourth wall on my brain. Okay, just so you know, that's like me 24/7.
Yeah, we're constantly thinking about the fourth wall.
I'm always like, how can we break it? Anyway, recent party games like Drawful or Fibbage include features that make them fun to watch, and in some cases even make remarks based on the number of players. Why do you think player habits are so much more difficult to work into single-player games? Outside of multiple choice questions or blatant psychological profiling, I've never seen a horror game attempt it. Love the show, Taylor. P.S. If RE7 doesn't pan out, you should try Zero Escape series. They have brutal choices, obscure puzzles, and some weird twists.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people talking about Zero Escape lately, which is weird because I'd never heard of it. And
I hadn't heard of it until I just read it right now. So
I'm so excited, and I'm like, "What is this? What is that?" Yeah, so apparently that's good. I don't know.
I don't know how to answer the actual question though.
Well, I don't either. Let's make a horror game where there's a lot of fourth wall breaking, and then we'll send it to Taylor.
Okay, that sounds good to me.
I don't know how to make a horror game, but we actually were already talking about that with Steph while we were playing Resident Evil 7 and being like, let's make a game and making it about Steph. And
well, I think that's it though, is that like we played Resident Evil 7, which is a single player game, which was a lot of fun for three of us to sit there and play. And you and I never had the controller once.
That's true.
I feel like there's a lot of situations, especially like with Team Sexy Bane, where Marilyn and I play horror games together, and generally I'm the person with the controls and she's telling me what to do. But I feel like horror games are successful in that way because you can play it single player and be scared and it's funny in that aspect. But when you play with another person, it's like you're sort of scared together, which is something I was doing a long time ago. Kara and I used to do that with the Silent Hill games. So like, I don't know if this necessarily answers the question, but like, I do feel like
how could you have a group playing a game and everybody's participating? I mean, honestly, Resident Evil 7 was that.
Yeah, but I think a lot of those horror games are designed to be that way now. Because then it's like one person playing and then like it's a horror movie for everybody else. Does that make any sense?
But the fun part about RE7 was the puzzle aspect of it. Like after the scary part, we were kind of like, wait, there's a lot of stuff to solve here. And that part kind of reminded me of like a party game where everybody's playing together, where you're all like, oh, let's try this. Let's try this. Or like one of those escape the room puzzles.
Like it's just Mario Party with Resident Evil. Okay, wait, can somebody make that game?
I mean, I don't know. Is it just like Leon putting the dummy finger in
No,
stuff?
it's like Resident Evil themed mini games, and you get to choose your player and all that shit.
I'm
Wesker
surprised
stomping around like Bowser.
no one has made like a parody version of Resident Evil that's Mario Party. Probably because nobody else cares as much about Resident
Nobody's made a
Evil.
parody of Mario Party because like there's already
would they?
45 Mario parties, and to the point where like the most recent one was like incredibly boring to everyone.
That's too bad. I don't know. I'm not that into those games, but I know they're very popular.
That
I
new
don't have
Mario
any
Party that's coming out
friends.
is doing something different actually, where like you play as everybody plays as a Toad, and then you collect characters to play as in the mini games, which I think is interesting. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. It's like as soon as you add a collecting aspect to any game, I'm suddenly like super
You're like,
interested.
I'm into it.
I'm like,
It sounds like the original Subspace Emissary Smash campaign where you collect all the other characters that you're going to play as in the game. Do you remember doing
oh,
that?
you mean for Brawl?
Yep.
Because that wasn't in Melee. That was a Brawl thing.
No, it was
I was actually very disappointed that the new Super Smash Brothers didn't have like an
a
adventure
campaign. Mode. It didn't, and that was kind of too bad. But I know you like collected characters for Brawl.
Yeah, but I know that in the new Super Smash, which I love, it was like literally like you started it and you had like half the characters already unlocked, and I was like, dude, like I didn't even have to unlock Ganondorf. What the hell?
And we play so much that it wasn't even that hard for us to unlock the characters.
No, there wasn't even like a character worth like. I mean, I unlocked all of them, but I remember thinking at the time, I was like, well, all the characters that I want to play as are like already unlocked except for like Lucina, but I think she was already unlocked in the Wii U version. So I was like, what am I unlocking?
Yeah,
Falco, who cares?
So like anybody. I was just playing like for fun. But
yeah, I don't know. That's like an important aspect to me. But anyway, this is going way off subject, and we should read Skye's recipes, and then we can talk recipes. So Skye sent one last week, and then I actually messaged her and I was like, yeah, so the show's not happening this week because like crazy shit's happening in my life right now. But I told her that we would read it this week, and she sent something for a nice, cool summer recipe, which is grape salad, in which you need 4 pounds of seedless grapes, 1 8-ounce cream cheese package, and 1 8-ounce sour cream tub, half a cup of white sugar, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 4 ounces of chopped pecans, a small bag, and 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. And she says, check it and see. And she goes, wash and dry the grapes. In a large bowl, mix together all ingredients except the grapes, brown sugar, and pecans. Then incorporate the grapes, and lastly sprinkle on brown sugar and pecans. Keep in the fridge or in the ice chest until serving.
Wow.
And then she goes, joke time. Why did the app take a shortcut? To get to the market faster.
What? Okay, I don't get that one, Skye. You're gonna.
I think it's a double entendre about apps, like as in like
the app marketplace.
Yeah, and also like appetizers.
Yeah, that was what I was thinking. Was like, is it an appetizer joke? Remember when Rachel Ray started calling appetizers apps? Didn't she initiate that? And I was like, apps or applications?
I don't remember any of that. Were we even friends then? Like.
I think so. I mean, it was just.
Did you like call me one day and you were like, "Excuse me, Ryan, why is Rachel Ray doing this?" And I was like, "Who's that?"
I think it was during a period of time when I was in college, so I wasn't like calling you every single day. I don't know.
No, but we anyway, definitely were. There were definitely AM conversations as we discovered. So.
Anyway, do you have any like cold fruit salads or anything along those lines that you make in the summer?
Yes.
I don't actually.
I mean, like, I'm like, well, normally what I do is I literally just take a bunch of fruit and throw it in a bowl.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. I made a pie a couple weeks ago for myself, like a fruit tart. Like,
those are good.
There's a shell and like a pie shell, and then you put cream cheese on the bottom.
There's a pie shell on your pie.
I mean, yeah. And you put cream cheese on the bottom, and then you put strawberries in, and then you smash up some raspberries and strawberries and blackberries and mix them with sugar in a pan and like boil it and put some cornstarch in there so that it thickens up a little bit. And then you pour it in the pie shell over the strawberries that you haven't cut up. And then you put it in the fridge for a while. And it's a summer pie and it's really good.
That does sound really good. You know what? I like to do that sort of like a breakfasty summer thing because I don't do this a lot over the winter. But like if I'm like thinking about having something that has high carbs in the morning. Like if I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have a bagel and toast. Something I like to do in the summertime, especially with toast, is like cut up sliced fruit to go with it, specifically like cantaloupe or pineapple, and then sort of put that on the toast. If that makes any sense. Yeah.
Wow, I've never done that.
I mean, it's a weird thing I do. I don't know. I'm a weird guy. What can I say? But I definitely recommend fruit in the morning with your breakfast.
Yeah,
and
it's delicious.
Cantaloupe is so good. And then like for the rest of the year, I still like a lot of bananas and apples and oranges, shit like that. But this is like the time of year that I want to really like have tropical fruit as part of my breakfast. Yeah. So like, I mean, that's probably what I would say. I'm not as creative with some of this kind of stuff because I'm just like, I just like take it out, cut it up, and like eat it like that. Like I don't bother making a recipe.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I basically just made a pie because I was like, I don't know, I felt like it.
We also had all these edible arrangements sent to us in the past week.
Oh yeah, you've got a lot of food to eat. That's
well, all that fruit has to like be thrown away now because it's been like a week. And the thing is, okay, so here's a fun fact for everybody that wants to get people edible arrangements for an event. Edible arrangements are great and delicious. But when you get like 3 of them, it's like you're like, okay, we're not going to eat all this, and it's going to go bad real fast because it's already been peeled and cut. You know what I mean? Like, so it doesn't last very long, as pretty as it is.
Yeah. Like honestly, if you're getting somebody a gift after a funeral, you should get them something like tea or coffee or boxes of Kleenex, things that don't go bad, because a lot of people are going to be giving them stuff that goes bad.
I mean, I totally appreciate. I mean, especially Ben, we both appreciate all the arrangements we got because they were beautiful.
Eat them in time. So...
Well, I tried. I mean, I really tried pushing it. Everyone's like, everybody that came by is like, here, eat some fruit. And like, we did eat like I think most of one of them, and then like half of the other one. So we did eat a lot of it. But there was definitely like a lot. Yeah. But you know, oh no, you know what I should talk about? Because this was part of the edible arrangements. Is they sent chocolate dipped fruit, which I used to do 10 years ago when I was a manager of Godiva chocolate, like the retail chain, like when I had a store.
Oh, I've not forgotten any of this. You brought home chocolates all the time because
I did. And we also had to do lots of like we would temper the chocolate and then like dip fruit every morning. And that is so good, especially during the summertime. Obviously it's great during the wintertime too, but like right now that really hits the spot because I didn't even think about doing this during my time at Godiva, but one of the things in the edible arrangements were apple slices that had been dipped in dark chocolate. And like, I fucking love Choco Tacos. And I'm like, this is
like a healthy version of a Choco Taco.
Well, I mean like healthy, but there's still chocolate all over it. But like instead of the middle,
dark chocolate, and it's just like a little bit, and it's mostly apple. So.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, and like instead of ice cream on the inside, there's apple, but it still has that same effect as the Choco Taco does, where it's like you're eating this big chocolatey chunk of something with something sweet on the inside and cold. So it was like really great. And they also did like chocolate covered bananas, which we did do at Godiva, but those were really good too.
That's probably my favorite one. I know this is kind of weird, but I'm not that into chocolate covered strawberries. And you thought it was weird when you were at Godiva.
I don't really like them either. I mean, I ate them because we got them.
To me.
But like,
I mean, I'll eat them if somebody's like, "You have to eat this." I'll eat it.
We used to make these things too, like at Godiva, where they were like little, like chocolate cups where you put fruit on the inside of the chocolate cup and then drizzle them in chocolate.
See, to me, I honestly I like fruit and I like chocolate, but once you put them together, I'm like, I can't taste either of these things. I know. Yeah,
I think it depends on the type of fruit.
I think it's also just a personal preference thing. However, I do think that bananas and chocolate is pretty good because bananas have a very mild
apples and chocolate
flavor.
Apparently.
I mean, I don't know if I'd be into that or not. I used to get those chocolate oranges as a kid. You remember those?
I do remember those.
Orange flavored chocolate.
But it's definitely not a real orange on the inside.
No, it is not. Those are good. Anyway, so there's some fruit chocolate combinations that I like, but I'm apparently particular about it.
Do you remember those candies that were like the little bottles with like the juice on the inside?
And they were just wax, and you would they weren't even really candies, and you just bite off a wax top of the bottle.
Sometimes
just drink
eat
sugar water.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah.
There was a period of time where Katie and I, when we were much younger, trying to figure out if they were wax or not. So we ate one, and we're like, no, we just definitely ate wax.
Yeah, I think I went through the same thing. There were a lot of like weird candies that parts of them weren't actually edible, but they wouldn't make it clear to you, like wax lips and stuff like that. Like, why did wax lips even exist?
Or
They
candy
aren't
buttons.
Yeah, I don't know what candy buttons are. What
The
are
ones
they?
that they're like on the strip of paper. You
Oh, and
flip
you're
them
like,
off.
can I eat this paper? But you
Yeah.
like can't.
Yeah, pretty much. So
Candy
anyway,
needs to come with instructions for small children because kids will just put stuff in their mouth
yeah,
and be
pretty much.
like,
I mean,
"Is
I love
this
candy as a
food?"
kid, but I really can't, for the most part now, there's not a single candy I like, which is really sad. I don't know what happened to that. Like, I just like grew out of it. I still like chocolate though, but I don't think that counts.
I mean, I think it's pretty normal actually, like becoming an adult and being like, sugar doesn't taste the same.
You're like,
to me.
I don't really want to eat a pound of gummy bears right now.
I mean, I do. No, I'm just kidding. All right, I have to go, Ryan.
Okay, I don't know why I'm talking about this at this
You're
point.
like, listen, here's the candies I like, and I'm like, Ryan, I have to go.
All right. So subscribe to this channel. My eye just got really itchy. I'm sorry. Really important.
Listen, this is Insomniacs in the morning. You just watched it, and you can subscribe to this channel on YouTube, or if you want the audio only version of this show, you can check it out on iTunes. It's also
Or
called
atomicblueproductions.com.
Yep,
And also,
there's an
speaking of
RSS
Atomic Blue Productions, go to our YouTube channel, Atomic Blue Productions, and subscribe there because that's where Maddie and I post other videos that are not this show. I know.
Are good.
Well, not necessarily, but like other stuff that we make that we put up there. So you can go over there, and that's where Geno and a whole bunch of other shit that we're in production on now is going.
Go there
that's where Leon and Jill is. So I mean, there is something, and those throwback theaters to Demon and D2. And you can do things.
Email us. You can
email us at
Insomniacs in the morning at gmail.com.
Yeah, and send us topics and questions because we'll read them on air. And also follow us on Twitter at Samus Clone Dr. Yoshi 2, and you can follow Atomic Blue Productions on Twitter, Facebook, Tumblr, and Instagram.
At Atomic Blue Prod, I think, is what it's called.
They're all different variations. You can find it just by Googling or by searching Atomic Blue Productions. Yeah. And also, since it's 4th of July week and it just passed, I'm just going to remind everyone that fireworks are awesome and I fully support them, but please do not set them off if you live in a really condensed area around like 50 people in apartments.
Yeah,
that's very
really
rude.
Dangerous.
It's dangerous, and I wasn't a fan of, like, as much as I love fireworks and love setting them off, even as I wasn't a fan of seeing fireworks shooting off from somebody else's yard and nearly exploding in my window. So, thanks.
Go to a secluded location where people who want to participate in fireworks are all accepting that they will happen there.
Pretty much. All right, that's it. That's all I got. Happy summer, everyone.
Bye.
All right, goodbye. Thanks for watching.
Yeah.